Catterall TV. Subscribe.
He has also talked about it. That left hook is so good, and it's so long and so precise and so hard, but
Catterall, he isn't a knockout puncher, and that's a fact. You know, he couldn't get a old shot Linares out of there, and to think he's going to get this man out of there, not a chance. But I just hope he performs. He'll be ready because he's with a fantastic team. Because this man will be ready, and may the best man win. We're really confident.
Couldn't beat me the first time. Certainly ain't going to beat me this time. So it's a crossroads between the two of us, you know. Because when I beat him this time again, man, he's got nowhere to go. His biggest night is me, and then when I beat him again, he's got nowhere to go. He'll retire without a prime, without no belts, never be a world champion.
What's going on, guys? It's Catterall TV, and I'm back with another video. This time we've got the rematch, long-awaited rematch. Josh Taylor, former undisputed 140 pound, and Jack Catterall. The first fight was a very controversial fight, to say the least, and now they've finally made the rematch. Now, it's no secret Josh Taylor did not want to make this fight. He was forced into this fight by public opinion, because most people, 90% of people, thought that Jack Catterall won the fight. I was one of those people who thought that Jack Catterall won the fight. Josh Taylor was extremely lucky to get the decision on that night. I'm not sure how he got it. It happens quite a lot when you have someone who's an aggressor. The aggressor, whether it's effective aggression or not, tends to impress the judges for some reason. And Josh Taylor was definitely the aggressor in the first fight. But the guy who was, you know, landing the cleaner punches, the harder punches, more accurate punches, was Catterall. Catterall was clearly outboxing Josh Taylor. Catterall was landing a great jab. Josh Taylor never really had an answer for that jab. In the first round of their last fight, the first fight, Catterall landed a beautiful jab and followed up with a lovely right hand which caught Josh Taylor flush, if I remember correctly. And you know, the rest of the fight kind of went in that direction. Now, Josh Taylor, he never really adapted in the first fight, but he kind of started doing more and coming forward more, throwing more shots. But, you know, he wasn't really as effective as he should have been, and his defense was just lacking. And that's the thing about Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor, sometimes it's kind of funny because he's done a lot of things in the sport. You know, he's beaten a lot of top names, became undisputed. At one point was, you know, the highest ranking fighter at the weight class. And then now we've seen him beaten by Teofimo quite easily, beaten by Catterall, and you think, well, how did he drop so far, you know, especially with Catterall, you know. But it's styles make fights. I've always said that Catterall, if you just look at their personalities, that's how they fight as well. Josh Taylor, a lot more of a kind of aggressive personality. He finds it difficult to contain himself, his emotions mentally. And if he can't, you know, land early on, he starts coming forward, even against his better instincts to kind of box instead of being over aggressive. He's the kind of person who, you know, if he gets hit, all that's going to go out the window, and he's going to start to become more aggressive. Catterall is, you know, a different type of character. He seems to me mentally more stable. He can hold himself together. He knows that Josh Taylor is a very fiery, come forward fighter, and Catterall's going to do just a lot more of what he did the first time. But I think now that Catterall's got in the ring with Josh Taylor and he's realised that he's got his number, which I think he has, and he realised he can beat him, now we're going to see Catterall actually trying to end the fight. You're going to see him try to, you know, if he does catch him with counters like he did in the first fight, you'll see him following up, because he doesn't have that fear of Josh Taylor, that healthy fear of Josh Taylor anymore. So I think we'll see Catterall following up on some of his punches, maybe initiating a few things rather than just countering like he did in the first fight. And you know, I think, like he says in the press conference, I think Catterall has a chance of stopping Josh Taylor. If not, it will be another landslide defeat. And I edge Catterall to win. Now, it's just their characters in the ring, their last performances. Catterall is a really well-rounded fighter. He doesn't get a lot of respect. Like Josh Taylor said, he hasn't won anything. And that was the reason why he underestimated him the first fight. He actually said it out of his own mouth. He said, the reason why my performance was so bad, I underestimated Catterall because he hasn't done anything. He hasn't fought anyone of the caliber of the people I've fought. He hasn't done the things I've won, all these belts. And I just thought he was someone who, obviously wasn't going to be as good as or as tough as Regis Prograis or any of these Ramirez or any of these fighters who Josh Taylor beat. So he took him for granted, and we saw what happened. Now in the second fight, he says he won't be taking him for granted. But I think it's Josh Taylor's nature. He is an aggressive fighter. He can box, but he's an aggressive fighter. He makes quite a few mistakes in there. And Catterall is the kind of person who, is the opposite of that. He's quite technical. He's quite safety first. And I feel like that's going to be Josh Taylor's kryptonite. Not even just Josh Taylor, but any kind of overly aggressive fighter who neglects their defense like Josh Taylor. To get specific, what kind of mistakes I think Josh Taylor makes. He's very heavy on the front foot. When somebody does throw a right hand, he's got nowhere to go. He gets hit flush a lot. His guard, he tends to drop his lead hand. I've seen him do that in every single fight. He tends to drop his lead hand as he gets more confident. And he just makes these kind of mistakes, and it's the kind of mistakes that Catterall knows he makes and is going to try to capitalize on it every chance he gets. See, Catterall is the kind of fighter who he doesn't really initiate. He just waits for you to make mistakes. If you make mistake, you're out of position, he'll punch, he'll catch you. He'll remind you that you're out of position. And he's quite heavy-handed, even though he hasn't got a lot of knockouts. There's a few shots that I've seen him land on people, Josh Taylor included. You can see that he visibly got his attention. So he's got enough power there to get anyone's attention at that weight class. He's definitely a dark horse. I think he's a really skilled fighter, to be honest. But like I said, Catterall is more of a kind of fighter who's going to stay with the fundamentals. He's going to jab. If you leave your guard open, you might follow up with the right hand. If you're too aggressive with your footwork, he might choose that opportunity to counter. But he's not someone like Josh Taylor who's just going to try and leap in and go for it. Josh Taylor a lot of the times will go for it because he's more of a reactive kind of explosive fighter. And that matchup often sees Josh Taylor on the losing side, lately anyway. So for me, I've got Catterall winning the rematch. Will Josh Taylor retire? 2 wins back to back, 2 losses. Will Josh Taylor retire? 2 losses back to back against obviously Teofimo and now Catterall in the rematch. I don't know, but he's definitely going in the opposite direction. I think when Josh Taylor loses, which I think he will, I think he'll probably just point out the fact that he's handing the torch over. He's done so much in the sport. He's become world champion. He's become undisputed, all these things, and it's Catterall's time. He might, when he loses, he might still say that he doesn't think that Catterall will ever be a world champion, because he said that about him already and they don't like each other. So I don't see why that narrative should change. But it's going to be a good fight. I'm looking forward to it. 27th of April. I think it's Catterall's time. Catterall's been very unlucky not getting the right fights he needs and just not getting top level fights. And I think he's a top level contender. So yeah, I'd like to see him against Regis Prograis and these top names. I think he's right up there. Let me know what you think. Are you looking forward to the fight? Do you think Josh Taylor redeems himself? Has he got a chance? Josh Taylor, anyone who's been undisputed, who's got the massive wins that he has, always has a chance. But I'm not writing him off. I'm just saying that the style's just not in his favour. Yes, he has a bit of experience in the fact that he's fought Catterall already, so he's not going to be so gun-ho as he was the first time, not so heavy on the front foot. But I feel like if he tries to play a different game where he's boxing instead, I think Catterall will take advantage of that also. So, you know, I don't think Josh Taylor can. I don't think Josh Taylor's going to win this one. Maybe by stoppage, maybe by a landslide majority decision. Either way, I think we see Catterall's hand raised. Let me know what you think of my take on the fight. I'm on to the next one.
I said, guess who's back? Man, guess who's back? I said, guess who's